Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today is Apex here with another video. Today I will be beginning a new series talking about watch list breakdowns that I'm looking at in the upcoming week. Typically I want to release at least 2 days of content per week with about 5 tickers, as you can see here. So today we'll be going over JMIA, LAZR, FSR, SHOP, and FSLY. Before I begin this video, I should start by saying that none of what you see here is financial advice. It's purely for educational purposes only. I think that this is mutually beneficial to both you and I. I love talking about this stuff. I think it reinforces the strategy and my conviction in the trade, but I also think it's better to learn through a YouTube video or this type of format. I think it's a little bit difficult to learn over Twitter, especially when you're new to trading, and I definitely want to extend the knowledge that I've gained through the community, kind of just pay it forward, pay it back. So I think this is the best approach to do it. I always loved watching YouTube videos on trading. This is pretty much how I taught myself to trade. So again, just giving it all back to the community. So the first trade I'll look at today is JMIA. This stock exploded on Friday, as you all probably know. I've been tweeting about this for a couple days. I like to take credit, thinking that I was the first one talking about it on Twitter, but that's just my ego getting in the way. Anyway, we saw an explosive move Friday, lots of upside potential in this stock. So I'll break it down from a technical perspective, what led me to believe that this individual name had so much potential. So looking at the chart right now, the first thing that I always look at when I am thinking about entering a trade is the volume. I don't even need to see the price action at all. I don't need to see the pattern. I don't need to see any other indicators like the RSI or the EMAs or whatever it may be. All I want to see, excuse me, all I want to see is volume. And this is exactly what we get here. Since back in July, it's just bull volume nodes all over the place. Now, this type of accumulation volume, Trader Stewie talks a lot about it, and this is kind of where I learned it most from him. Was what you want to see in a winning stock is exactly this type of volume pattern. All you see is consistent volume beats time and time again, and then you compare that with a fundamental analysis. So JMIA, I believe it's like the Amazon of Africa. So huge application and untapped marketplace, only upside potential, especially in an environment where resources are so limited and so very difficult to get to. If you have more or less a monopoly in that area, like I said, I think it's the Amazon of Africa. When you have a monopoly on a continent with so much untapped potential, the upside for their stock is seemingly unlimited. It's unlimited for any name, but it's I'm trying to conceptualize this as best I can, but I just feel like it's so much so much more profound in this type of fundamental environment where we have this untapped potential and a cheap stock. Sky's the limit, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. So anyway, looking at a more technical side of things here, so we have that volume, we have the fundamental reason. Now we're looking at the pattern. So this isn't quite an ascending triangle. Typically, an ascending triangle has multiple points of resistance that price can't get through, conceptualized in like a double, triple, or quad top. Pen is actually a good example of what an ascending triangle might look like. So you have this this price level right around the 76 area where we have one, two, three, four, 5 areas where price could not, five rejections, 5 rejections from this level where price could not get over. But what you see is increasing higher high, higher low type formation. So we see that daily uptrend still very much intact, can't get through this pocket of resistance, and then we get a breakout with strong continuation as all this price is released, all this congestion is released. So JMI, similar idea. We have high, higher low, high, higher low, high, higher low. You get the idea. And then we have a strong breakout on Friday. Now this isn't quite a ascending triangle. As you can see, it's not like a double top or anything. It's a sloped upper trend line, but you can look at the pivot lows and see that this stock had a tremendous amount of strength leading up into this breakout. So you're looking at it from a daily chart. Okay, so try to ignore this Friday candle. What do you see? Well, you see a strong impulse move and then a bull flag consolidation. Again, you see bull volume beats throughout that pattern, showing that there's nothing but buyer's interest in this stock, and then ultimately a move higher. Now, this alone isn't an entry. If you're bold and bodacious, you can incorporate that with the volume pattern and say, okay, it has a fundamental reason, it has the volume, imprints, volume accumulation signify that this is going to move higher. We're forming a bull flag right before a potential breakout area. If I see any strength in the first hour of the day, that's going to be my cue. Now, my trading strategy, again, this is strictly for educational purposes only, is I like to see hourly bull flags at the breakout zone or after the breakout zone. So we get one at the breakout zone. We have this hourly consolidation, bull flag, strong impulse move up, multiple sessions of consolidation, decreasing volume in that consolidation after seeing an increased volume leading up to it. And so what I would be looking for here is all I'm looking for is a strong hourly open for a bull flag confluence. And what do we get? This 930 candle here. Look at the volume note that came in. Very strong candle. You could look to say, okay, I want to enter at the break of the high. I want to enter with any hourly pullbacks, whatever it may be. Now, I wasn't actually watching this trade as it took place. I know I should have been, but I think there's going to be plenty of opportunity to enter in the days and weeks to come, and this has so much more upside that I'm not too worried about getting a perfect entry. But nonetheless, I don't really tend to trade much on Fridays. I just kind of take my foot off the gas. The only trades I enter is if I am adding into positions. But we did see this huge breakout, so that could have been your sign, and this is ideally what I look for. Again, that bull flag at or above the breakout level. So now the main strategy for me would be add into any hourly pullbacks. If I see an hourly pullback of any sort, I'll just look to add ladder positions all the way down to this pivot high here, basically using this entire zone as a potential pocket to buy. We have the $50 psychological level, so you can enter at like 51, just getting ahead of all those people trying to get in at the $50 psychological level. So there's plenty of ways to play it. RSI is overextended on the hourly chart, not saying that that matters, but it could lead to a pullback. So anyway, that's the strategy that I'm looking for with this play. I have Fibonacci targets, so I've taken it from, excuse me, this November 10th pivot low to this December 23rd pivot high. And we got a 57, 63, and 72. Based off this volume pattern, I think we can reach 75 to 100. Again, I got to stress this constantly. I do not wish to provide you guys financial advice. This is purely for educational purposes only. But this volume pattern is so strong that I think this is going to have huge upside potential. Next stock that we were looking at is LAZR. So this has been one on my watch list for a number of weeks. We're forming a beautiful bull pennant here, highlighted by this strong impulse move, consolidation. Okay, so what's the first thing that we're looking for? Volume. We have massive accumulation, great bull volume throughout this entire pattern. So that's step one. This huge volume node that's red, actually, it's deceiving because if you add this feature here, so it prints a green volume node if the price of that candle closes above the close of the previous day. That's a bullish indication overall. And you can zoom in here, you see it's got a big lower wick, the sign of buyers entering into this position. And based off this interpretation of the volume, I mean, this is all bulls, huge accumulation. We see decreasing volume into the consolidation, another great indicator for potential upside. So what are we looking for? Okay, zoom in on the hourly chart, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. So we already have the formation of an hourly bull flag, looking for that strong continuation to the upside on Monday. And this is beautiful. I mean, this is as good as it gets. Strong bull volume as we're in this consolidation phase. We begin breaking out at the end of Friday's session. We see that increase in volume as well. From a technical perspective, this is like kid in a candy shop type thing. It doesn't get better than this. So I'll be looking for an entry on this particular stock as we break out of this bull flag. Being Monday, I might take it a little bit slow. I want to see like if I see a gap above one, I might even chase that. Or if I see a strong bull, if we open right around where price closed on Friday, see a strong bull move above some of these pivot levels, strong close above with good bull volume, that could be my cue to enter. But we will see what happens. This is a LAZR is a LiDAR company, so they specialize in automation, vehicle automation for companies like Uber, Tesla. That technology is completely applicable. So you think about the EV sector, how hot that's been. Uber has been red hot. Vehicle automation is obviously the future. That's the direction where everyone's going, where every car manufacturer is going. So the technical or the fundamental application of this company is absolute. So that alone is an interest to buy, and then you pair that with the technical setup, great bull volume, great technical setup. This could be a huge winner. So then looking at targets, so we use our Fibonacci extension tool again, taking it from the pivot low here to the pivot high here. We get targets through the 50s, all the way up to 70. I do think that there is complete upside potential to these target levels from this stock, based on this pattern, the volume, the fundamental application as well. So hopefully we can see a strong continuation out of that hourly bull flag on Monday. FSR, Fisker, it is a North American electric vehicle sector. So forming, again, these very familiar patterns. Trading is such a simple philosophy. You find patterns that you know, you trust, you love, and then you just keep waiting for them to set up. And right now they're in the market. It's so strong. There's such an abundance of these patterns, especially in the renewable sector. I made a PowerPoint presentation on this sector and a bunch of the individual names that are looking poised for continuation to the upside. So take a look at that. I highly recommend it, as there is a ton of knowledge in that. FSR is one of those names, same with LAZR. But anyway, nonetheless, you see this strong impulse move up, pattern pennant consolidation here. Okay, again, what's highlighted by? So looking at the volume, see a strong impulse move up, huge bull volume accumulation, and then in the consolidation pattern, you see declining volume. Strong impulse move, hallmarked by strong bull volume, pullback, consolidation, low volume, and now we're looking for a breakout. This doesn't get us, on this stock, it is as tight as it gets from a consolidative perspective, using this volume shelf here as support. So what are we looking at? Zoom in on the hourly chart. So we want to see that strong hourly bull flag. Well, what do we have right now? We have an impulse move up, trying to make a higher low. So if this stock can make, it can gap up and run, gap and go type play on Monday, or if we just see like a very strong break above this pivot, I will wait for that hourly pullback to enter, just to confirm. That would be my personal strategy. But yeah, if we see a strong impulse up on some point next week with that bull volume, I mean, I want to see something stronger than this. Good bull volume coming in, that would be my cue to enter. But this is as tight as it gets in terms of a consolidative perspective. So then looking at targets, take it from the pivot low here to the pivot high here. Using our fib levels, we see upper 20s as a potential. Based off the volume, I think that's definitely doable, at least at the high here. 25 psychological, but we might squeeze past that. I mean, this volume is absolute, right? We're seeing 55.6 million shares traded in this day alone. Definitely shows that buyers are in full control, in my opinion, based off this volume. So moving on to SHOP, this is a pretty interesting one. So right now we're forming this bull pennant, but something I love to see is that we're forming it over another pattern. So we see that price was locked in this consolidation for a number of months, and we finally got a breakout. Okay, so we get that impulse move above. We looked for the pullback, seeing if bulls buy the dip. They do, hoping for continuation. We get kind of lost in this pennant consolidation here. So we're consolidating on top of a consolidation. That's like a springboard. That's a spring at maximum tension. This thing looks poised for an explosion to the upside. Again, looking at the volume. Now, there's a few exceptions to the volume strategy, and that is with companies that have absolute institutional glory, institutional ownership and interest. Names like Tesla, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, Shopify, stocks that time and time again have proven to be people's favorites, institutions' favorites, safe bets, absolute certainty type stocks, if there was such thing in a speculative market. Then the volume pattern, like you can see these bear beats and still have a bullish outlook. But looking specifically in this pattern here, this pennant on top of the broader consolidation, what do you see about this volume? Declining volume in the consolidation. That is textbook technical analysis, poised for continuation higher. Like I said, it's a springboard waiting to explode higher. ARK has been investing in SHOP, building a position. So you know when some of the best in the business are interested. your technical analysis, your fundamental theory may be, in fact, correct. So we can also derive another technical clue that is similar to JMIA here. So remember when I was saying about JMIA, how it formed a daily bull flag within the consolidation and then exploded higher. Well, what do you see about SHOP here? I'm hoping you see the exact same thing that I do. Nice impulse move, bull flag pullback within the pattern, setting up for a continuation above this pivot here. It's January 14th pivot. Zooming in on the hourly chart. So it's not as clear on the hourly chart, but we do see this. We see a impulse move up and appears to be a bull flag. So ideally what I would want to see is an explosion of price action above this area on the hourly chart, hallmarked by volume such as this. We get nice, huge volume nodes eclipsing any of this previous volume pattern set before. That would be my cue for an entry. Okay, bulls are in control, breakout is set, hourly trend is strongly in the bulls' favor. That is ideal for an entry. So a gap up open, maybe just a strong impulse move out of the gates, whatever it may be. Want to see price action clear this level, like I said, and see volume enter, such as over here. But SHOP looks poised for more upside. The last one I will go up. My personal favorite, I love looking at this chart, but I don't know if I want to enter or not. I just think there's more potential in other things, but this looks so good. It's hard to say no. So looking at the volume here, actually, let's look at the pattern first, and then we'll go over the volume. So we see two patterns coinciding very well together. We see this megaphone pattern, broadening pattern with multiple points of confluence, tons of technical support to signify this pattern's validity. Then we see a pennant triangle that appears to be breaking out. So pretty cool to put these together. We see upside potential targets of high 100s. Okay, let's zoom in on the volume here. So again, what do you see? You see massive bull volume nodes that signify buyer's interest. So that's step one. Volume is confirmed for the bulls, and we see this nice big volume shelf that was acting as support. Now we're breaking above it. So from a technical perspective, this is just a piece, this is a masterpiece. Zooming in on the hourly chart, okay, we get that hourly uptrend. Higher low, breakout, higher high, pullback. Like this is the ideal entry point. Get that hourly pullback. Okay, adding into these positions, we see high volume node breakout. Now let's actually zoom in on the 15-minute chart and really see whether or not this was predominantly bulls. So it does appear like on the 5-minute chart that this was mostly bear volume. We do see bull volume coming in here, so it's a little bit sketchy. Again, I don't know, like I don't know if I trust FSLY based off what happened in October. I remember everyone was so excited about this pennant breakout, making tremendous gains, and then it just like collapsed. It capitulated on so many people. So this left a sour taste in my mouth. I know it can happen to any stock. Um, it's not necessarily confluence that it'll happen again. But with earnings coming up in under a month, I think that this might be stalled a little bit. Could be completely wrong. We see a huge upside continuation into next week. But based off the timing of things, right? Earnings under a month, last earnings reaction just before earnings was like very dramatic. So people definitely want to wait for these numbers to be released before putting the bulk of their money in. That would be the psychological approach that I would assume people take. But maybe yeah, it's one of those weird natural occurrences where the opposite of what you expect to happen is the most likely outcome. So I would be fearful, timid. I assume most people would be fearful and timid, but then we get that explosional move because of it. It's like opposite to what happened here. Everyone was like euphoric. This is the new, I don't know, this is the new best stock to buy. Huge potential for returns, huge upside gains, and then we just fall out of the sky. So it could be that psychological opposite phenomena. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about, but I have seen this time and time again where the least likely outcome ends up being the one that is the most likely outcome just based off human psychology. Anyway, nonetheless, looking at this hourly uptrend here, if we see a strong bull volume, like if we see an equivalent bull volume as this candle here come in on Monday or something like that with a strong impulse move up, maybe a gap and go, maybe just an open right around the close of Friday and a huge breakout above this level, that could help solidify my confidence and conviction in this trade, but I do think there are better. I just thought it was a very beautiful technical setup based off these trend lines and the volume pattern and everything, that it was worthy of paying attention to. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and the new series. Hope you had a great weekend, and I will talk to you tomorrow.